friends, welcome back to Simply Our Home. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Amy and welcome. In today's video, we are going to be trying out some board and batten here in our dining room. Now, we've never did this before, so we did watch a lot of tutorials here on YouTube, and I'll link some of our favorites down in the description box. Now, my hubby Scott will be joining me with this one, and what I love about board and batten is that you can really customize it to your liking. You can decide how much distance you want between your boards, as well as how high, and then also change the color to whatever you prefer. We will definitely be sharing any tips and tricks that we have for you along the way. So I hope this gives you some inspiration to try this in your own home. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. But before you click off, if you enjoyed today's video, remember to give us a big thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button down below. All right, let's get started.
We'll first take our measurements for the board and batten. We took the length of our wall, which was 107, divided by the amount of vertical boards we wanted, which was 7 in our case. And this gave us the measurement between the vertical boards. Here's a quick shot of the drawing we did with our measurements so that you can screenshot it and take a closer look if you'd like. Now, to pick up all the supplies for the board and batten. We hit up Menards initially to only find out that they were running low on 2 of the 3 size boards that we needed. So we grabbed the 2.5-inch boards and quickly made a run to Lowe's to get the remaining 3.5 and 1.5-inch boards that we needed. For this feature wall, we will be using the pre-primed MDF. Now it is time to make the cuts for the top and the bottom board, and Scott will be using his compound miter saw. I'll go ahead and link that down in the description box for you all if you don't already have this. This is something that we have used in many of our home projects. Before he begins attaching the molding, Scott is going to use this handy tool, which is the Black & Decker Bullseye Laser Level and Stud Finder, to locate all the studs. If you nail into just the drywall, there is nothing for the nail to grab onto and hold, so it's really important to nail the moldings directly to the studs to make sure it is nice and secure. So definitely don't overlook this step. And yes, his trusty assistant is Nyla, our 1.5-year-old Shiba Inu. She loves to supervise and make sure we're doing everything properly. I did want to mention the reason that we're adding this bottom molding is so that the vertical boards will set flush at the bottom. Otherwise, if we added the vertical boards to just our existing baseboard, there would be a weird overhang. However, I have seen that there is ways to eliminate this by beveling the vertical boards at a 45-degree angle, but we thought this way would look the best. The next step we'll be doing is measuring up 48 inches, which is the height we want our vertical boards to be. Making sure this line is perfectly level, we'll line up the bottom of our 3.5-inch top molding and nail it into place. Moving right along, it's time to attach the vertical boards. Since we've already calculated the distance between them to be 17 3/8, now all that is left to do is mark that distance on the top board and install them. Scott is just double checking all the measurements, making sure that they are equally spaced. Well, I'm going to go ahead and fill the nail holes with this dry deck spackling. What I love about this stuff is that it goes on pink, and when it's dry, it turns white, signaling it is ready to be painted. To attach the vertical boards, since they are not in line with a stud, Scott will be using a combination of both liquid nail and the nail gun to secure them. Now to add that last piece of molding, which is a 1.5-inch piece that will lay flat on the top to finish off the molding and complete the board and batten. Then I'll go ahead and finish up filling any of those nail holes before we move on to another important step, which is caulking any gaps to really make everything look seamless. Here is the caulk that we will be using for the areas especially along the wall and between the boards like I'm showing here. Sometimes this can be a long and tedious process, but what we found was that with both of us working at the same time, one would caulk while the other was cleaning up and smoothing the caulk, that we finished up this pretty quickly. It is now the next day. We went ahead and let everything dry overnight, and I already wet sanded where I puttied so that I can start painting this wall. I'll be using my favorite brush, which is the Purdy XL 2.5-inch angled brush. If I need to tape, I'll be using the green frog tape, and the paint that I'll be using is what we've used on all of our trim throughout our home and for our kitchen cabinets, which is the Sherwin Enamel paint for trim in the Navajo white with a satin finish. While I'm doing this, Scott is going to go ahead and get started installing more board and batten along both sides of the staircase.
Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spreading my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a void, but you broke the coldness somehow and lit up a flame. And ooh, I was done feeling hopeless, screamed out loud because it felt impossible in my bones, like getting blood out of the stone on my own. But you came around and removed the thorn in my soul. You guided me out of the storm. I found home in your arms of gold, in your arms of gold, in your arms of gold. It's funny how easily a life can be torn apart. Why couldn't I simply see that I was sick at heart and I am in deep debt? The climb we did was unreal. You made me so speechless. I just can't believe it.
Okay, so after we put up the trim and we're almost finished painting, Scott had an idea. Instead of this coming out so sharp and straight and it kind of looks a little odd here, he thought that maybe we could do this. If you can see, he kind of beveled that edge to round it out, and I think that will look much better. Now he'll have to come in here and maybe use a saw for this one by hand, but on this side, he'll be able to do this, and I think it'll just make it look a little bit more professional and like it flows better with our baseboard. So that's a tip if you have the type of baseboards that we have. By adding that 1 inch on the top, you're going to have this, this little odd place here. So that's one way to remedy it. There you can kind of see. So it doesn't look as sharp. Of course, I'll show you once it gets painted. You can't really see the details. But yeah, it looks nice and rounded instead of so sharp.
Felt impossible in my bones, like getting blood out of the stone on my own. But you came around and removed the thorn in my soul. You guided me out of the storm. I found home in your arms of gold, in your arms of gold.
And here is how the board and batten looks on both sides of the staircase. I'm absolutely loving all the character it instantly adds. I just can't wait till it's all painted and for the final reveal. Before showing you the final results, I thought it would be fun to take a look back. This is how the room looked just a few years ago, and this is our staircase before we painted all of our oak wood trim. Then, this past year, after all the trim was finally finished, we decided to convert this room into our dining room, and that brings us to today. So here is how the board and batten turned out. I am so happy with how it looks. I can't wait to finally complete our dining room with new furniture, which you get a sneak peek right there, and decor coming next week. If you're interested in seeing the complete and total makeover, get that notification bell set so that you'll be the first to see it once it's posted. Also, if you've enjoyed today's video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. And if you're new, I hope you consider subscribing before you go. Okay friends, as I wrap up today's video, it is Good Friday, and so I hope that you remember the true meaning behind today, and that you would accept the gift that Jesus gave us all, and that we could all live eternally in heaven one day together. I hope that you all have a wonderful Easter weekend. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Have a wonderful day, friends. Bye!